I'm not talking about just 4 random guys. You're talking about 4 key guys that really make this defense roll.
Three key guys.
Okay, yeah, you're right. 3 key guys: Dupree, Jeffries, and Amani Hooker.
Yes,
we're gonna take Cunningham out.
Yes.
My bad. You're right about that.
No, man, and this is gonna be a shocker when I say this. So hold on.
It is not gonna be a shocker when you say it. No.
But in my opinion, I wish that Malik would start this game.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
We are 3
Uncle Chris is
minutes
coming
into
out.
the show, and crazy Uncle Chris is wishing that Malik Willis was going to start at quarterback.
And the
Did you have some eggnog already?
No, I had some.
He was here at he was here at Sonny's before we got here. That true blue Titan margarita Chris must have hit before. He wants Malik Willis
time out.
to start.
Okay. The reason why I said that is because I know Tannehill's there, and I know that they want him to play, but I'm just talking about mobile-wise. If you have Tannehill that really can't move with an ankle and he tries to roll out and do those things, he's going to get killed back there. And everybody knows that the Denver Broncos has an aggressive defense, and they're going to put pressure on the quarterback. I know it sounds kind of crazy, and everybody wants Tannehill to play. I understand that. But the thing about it is everybody knows that the Titans are going to run the ball. They got to mix it up with the pass. So how are they going to pass and do those rollouts or those boots if Tannehill can't throw the ball? I know they're not going to try to do it like Wentz when he played for the Colts and just have him strictly in shotgun and not do a drop back. But if he stands back there like a statue, he is going to get picked off and he is going to get destroyed. The situation with Malik, the reason why I say I would like Malik to start, that even though his numbers aren't big, he still has the threat of running the ball and making something happen with his feet. Y'all ain't convinced, are you?
No, not really.
Did you like the logic, though?
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
No go.
But if my starter can go,
I agree.
Then you let him go. But you got to monitor him. You got to make sure that he's capable of doing the things that you want to do as a team. If he's limited in any way that hampers your offense, then you gotta play it by ear after that. I just hope that the offensive line does a good job at protecting him, because the last thing you want is for him to be going through the game, everything's going well, and then boom, he gets injured again on that right ankle. So it's good that he's playing. I'm glad that he's playing, because the guys that they have on defense that are missing, they're going to need Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but the thing about it is Todd Downing has to be huge in this game. What do you do with him? How do you monitor the offense and try to get plays out of Tannehill if he can't move, or even just standing back there throwing the passes? So I just think that Todd Downing has to be huge in this game to figure out a way to where Tannehill can be effective as opposed to ineffective.
I think it's a lot easier to coach when the quarterback isn't very mobile, as opposed to what Todd Downing's had to do the last 2 weeks, where the quarterback was not a threat to throw the football. And the reality with the Titans, I think we can all agree, is they proved last week, even under the most dire circumstances, they can beat any team in the league on any given Sunday. But I think we all know that they could lose to any team in the league too, and that includes the Broncos, that aren't a great team. I mean, I don't think this is even really all that difficult for Todd. I think Tannehill's fine. I think he'll be fine. I think they were extra cautious in holding him out last week, or him deciding to be held out last week. I think he's fine today. Do I think he's going to, run an RPO and run 80 yards up the middle for a touchdown? Probably not. But I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I'm not worried about Tannehill's ankle anymore. I'm not. He should be fine. It's been 3 weeks. It's a low ankle sprain. He'll be okay. Start Malik.
No. See, I'm gonna fight you, man.
Malik can't throw.
It's not about throwing. And I understand.
That position is somewhat about throwing.
Yeah, it is about throwing. But the thing about it is, look at the numbers that Tannehill had. They're not. They're just a little bit better than Malik.
No, they are doubly better than Malik, which is sad because it's 120 yards compared to 60. But that 100%. Is doubly better.
Okay, let me check. Okay, let's go. The Bills game, 11 for 20.
Talking about Tannehill?
Yeah, 11 for 20.
Put Malik out there, see what would have happened.
He'll be 10 for 20 then.
No, he would not.
Okay, let's go to the Raiders. 19 for 27.
Yes, 19 for 240 yards.
Okay.
Malik threw 5 passes and 6 passes.
Yeah, but
six passes in an NFL game with Malik Willis at quarterback. You want to know why all these defensive guys are out today?
Right.
because they played 100 defensive snaps on Sunday night because the offense was off the field the entire second half. Jeffrey Simmons has an ankle, and people were getting mad at me this week like, oh, yeah, you really want him to go out there like you wanted Tannehill to go out there. He played 80 snaps on Sunday night. That's why he's hurt. Yeah. Like, that's why all these defensive guys are hurt. They played 100 snaps because the quarterback can't throw.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Well, he can throw. He just has he's just not – he's at a point in his early career where things are not slowing down for him as a passer, and I've seen this before. It doesn't mean that he's not a good passer. It's just he has to get things to slow down for him. And
yeah, but when you saw those things – when you saw those things, was that when Billy Volek was the third stringer who never got into games?
Yeah, or either. Yeah.
Because when Joe Flacco was a rookie, I don't think it was this bad for you.
No, but Joe was a first-round pick. Joe was a guy that they brought in that was going to be the face of the franchise. They got him because they wanted him to start year one or year two. Getting Malik Willis, they didn't want him to start year one and possibly not even year two. Mm-hmm. They wanted to hopefully once Ryan Tannehill contract was done with, Malik Willis is ready to be inserted as the starting quarterback. But, I mean, the kid can throw. It's just he has to figure out the nuances of the NFL. Yep. He has to figure out the nuances of playing that position at this level. It's unfortunate that, he goes from, where was he, Auburn, then goes to Liberty, and Auburn's offense was much different from Liberty's, and Liberty's offense was basically vanilla. Then he comes here and he has to ramp it all back up again. It's going to take him a full year to really, and I'm talking about a full year of sitting. Yeah. I'm not even talking about a full year playing. I'm talking about a full year sitting of him learning the offense, learning the nuances of the NFL, allowing the game to slow down for him. Because right now it's too fast for him. And he feels he has to do everything fast, and that's gonna throw off a few of your throws, man. But I'm happy Ryan's back because they're gonna need him on this stretch because the defense is not getting any healthier.
I just think that they really got to be patient with him, but also they got to fill him with some confidence and find out a couple of things that he does well and let him do that. I watch Steve McNair rest his soul. I watch Steve McNair mature into one of the best quarterbacks in his franchise history. He struggled when he came in a little bit, but once he understood the offense, once he understood coverages, once he understood let the game come to you and it slowed down, then he had that opportunity to make plays. And I think with Malik, I'm not comparing him to Steve McNair, but once the game slows down and once he understands and once he builds that confidence, then I think he's going to go to take the next step of being a good quarterback in this league.
Here's my problem with all of this, is that to me, it's a priority thing. Mm-hmm. So, to me, the priority today is to beat the Denver Broncos. Yeah. The priority for this Titans team is to get as good of a seed as they can get in the AFC. They're going to be in the top 4, get the best matchups possible, and see if they can get to the Super Bowl. I don't think this Titans team is all that good, but I know they're going to win the division, which means they're automatically going to be where they were, for the last 2 years with a home playoff game. And then we saw last week, even without a passing game, the Titans were right there on the verge of beating Kansas City, and everybody seems to consider Kansas City as one of the 3 best teams in the NFL. So I thought last week was kind of a measuring stick game. When Steve McNair gets drafted 3rd overall, even though Chris Chandler was the quarterback and he sat and watched, the priority of the organization becomes, how do we build up our organization so that this guy will one day be our future? Mm-hmm. That is not where I feel like the Titans are with Malik Willis. I think a lot of people are thinking, it's good to get Malik experience. And I'm like, guys, he's a 3rd-round pick. There's no guarantee he's even going to make it in this league as a backup. And so to use Malik getting experience, for that to be a priority of this team is ridiculous to me. The priority right now needs to be on winning, and so I'm glad Tannehill's back in there, but I do have a huge concern about the backup quarterback position, especially because it's not like this is an easy offense for a quarterback right now, because the line doesn't give the quarterback any time, and the receivers don't get any separation early or late. So it's not like the quarterback can just throw the ball to a spot and expect the receiver to go up there and make a contested catch. And it's not like these guys are getting open early so the quarterback can just get the ball out. So, I think the Titans kind of find themselves in a real rock and a hard place when it comes to all of this.
Yeah, they do. But what helps it is that, Traylon Burks comes back, and at least he gives you the idea, at least right now, of having a big play receiver. He's made some plays. He showed some promise when he was in there early. Now him being back, I guarantee you, if he was healthy when Malik was quarterback, it would have been a lot better. Why? Because Malik would have known, I can throw it to this guy, and he's going to catch the ball no matter what. He more than likely he's going to catch the ball. Well, and he's going to get separation, and the other guys just wasn't getting separation. It makes the quarterback job. It makes the quarterback job just as hard because in his mind, every throw has to be perfect. Yeah. With Traylon Burks, they drafted him because every throw didn't have to be perfect because his wide catching radius. Every throw don't have to be in the chest. You can have a throw outside of his catch radius, and he's going to find a way to get it. Those other guys hadn't found a way to get it.
Yeah, and I think too that it doesn't just rely on the players. Also, you got to look at Todd Downing, and I say this in a respectful way as a coach, but he's got to put these receivers in a position to win. I mean, go in a bunch formation. If your receivers are struggling, can't get off the press and can't create separation, put them in a formation to where they're comfortable in. Put them in a bunch to where they don't get jammed at the line of scrimmage, and then they can work their magic at the top of the route. So it's not just the receivers or the quarterback. The Todd Downing's got to make sure he puts those guys in position to definitely be successful.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the big four storylines in today's game. We'll move the chains with TriStar Moving as we get you set for the Titans and the Broncos. Again, we are live out at Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. Sonny's delivers a great atmosphere for sports a few blocks away from Nissan Stadium out here in Germantown. They have got it absolutely rocking and rolling out here at Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Your home for the MTSU Blue Raiders is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Every touchdown.
Yes, touchdown.
Every three.
Free ball, yes, sir.
It all lives here.
Middle Tennessee.
You can also hear the Blue Raiders in the Borough on 97.5. Middle Tennessee Athletics on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Tennessee Home Builders wants to build you the home and addition of your dreams. Daniel is a licensed and insured Christian-based contractor serving Middle Tennessee and guarantees superior craftsmanship at the best price, including a free estimate and negotiable contractor fee. For decks, covered porches and patios, remodeling, additions, and custom builds, call Daniel at 615-796-3367 or TennesseeHomeBuilders.net. No job too big or too small.
Can you beat Vegas this football season? Hey, it's Chase McCabe for Superbook Sports. Superbook gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. No fancy computer algorithms, no guys across the pond setting lines for American sports, just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hi, this is Chef Mark again from Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Looking for the next place to hold a business dinner or just a private room for you and your guests to enjoy? Then look no further than Bob's. We believe in top quality food and service without all the distractions. So join us and experience why we've been voted Diner's Choice on Open Table for 6 years running.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 102.5 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
NFL pregame is on.
Live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge, it is the pregame show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chris Sanders, Derek Mason. It's time to move the chains with our friends at TriStar Moving. TriStar Moving, my official movers, TriStar Movers with 5-star service. And, of course, we start with first down.
First down.
Last week, even though they did not win, the Tennessee Titans to overtime on the road on Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs, Derek Mason with a backup quarterback. What do we make of the statement the Titans made, not just with us, but to the league, by playing Kansas City as close as they did in spite of their limitations under center?
Well, I mean, to me, it states that Vrabel is a really good coach in this league. He's one of the top coaches. You know, there's no moral victories in the NFL. You either win or you lose. That's just the way it is.
See, I thought that was a moral victory Sunday.
No, there's no moral victories in
Absolutely
the NFL. I don't care. Because to my thing is fights make styles make fights. And no matter what, those three defensive guys that are down, they could have been down against Kansas City. Right. But because of some reason, somehow, some way, Vrabel understands how to play Andy Reid team. No matter what, he understands and knows how to play him. And yes, from a 50,000-foot view, you look at it, you say, well, that was good what they did, and it's putting the rest of the NFL on notice that this is a really good Titan team.
With an elite defense.
But then they can go and play somebody else, the Houston Texans, and play them close. It's like, I thought they were good, but now they're playing the Houston Texans, who's horrible, and they beat them by 3 points, you know? So, yes, you're going to have a game like that. Yes, you're going to be able to go up against opponents that you just have their number. But as a whole, I don't know how much it says to the NFL on how good the Titans are. I think the NFL they understand. The Titans are a good team, and they can beat anybody on any given day because of the head coach they have.
I mean, that's it. I mean, Derek said it perfectly. I mean, in my opinion, I think this is a dangerous team because it's not, you know, that they're not beating the elite teams. It's just that they have a chance to beat the elite teams. Does that make sense? To where, you know, any game that you put them in, they have a chance. I know they lost to the Giants early in the season, but every time the game is on the line, they figure out a way to try to win the game. I mean, if you look at last week, they should have beat Kansas City. I mean, hands down, with the quarterback situation, with no receivers catching any passes, they still had a chance to win the game. In the style of football that they play, a lot of teams in the NFL don't play that physical football. I mean, that hit you in the mouth, running through your face, all these things. A lot of teams want to do finesse, and when you play a defense, a team like the Titans, they are going to run through your lips, and that's why I say this team is a dangerous, dangerous team.
That takes us to second down.
Second down.
Injuries on the defensive side of the ball, most notably Jeffrey Simmons out today with an ankle injury for the Titans. Bud Dupree's hip has flared up again. Amani Hooker with a shoulder injury suffered against the Texans, did not play against the Chiefs, and he is not going to play today. And Zach Cunningham has been placed on IR with an elbow injury that he suffered earlier in the season, and he's been in and out of the lineup. Dylan Cole looks to take that spot. What do we make of the defensive injuries today, Chris?
I mean, you know, Mike Vrabel's not going to make any excuses. He's going to say next man up. But I think that those guys in the position are going to have to play big with Dupree and Simmons and those guys out, like DeMarcus Walker and Mario Edwards and Weaver. Those guys are going to have to play big. And, you know, we had the same situation last year. It's kind of like a broken record. Guys are hurt. Guys are injured. Guys are on the sidelines. But it's always somebody that you don't know that steps up and make plays. So even though you don't have your main guys like Dupree that's a disruptor and Simmons that just changes the game, those guys that I just named, they're going to have to step up and play big. I mean, it's the culture that's built over there that even though you don't have those guys in there, the expectation level is that if you're in the game, we expect you to make plays. So I guarantee you that this defense is going to play well.
Well, they're going to have to because I say 4, you say 3, but the 3 guys that have a major impact in this game and has had a major impact in games up until this point, Amani Hooker, he's already missed a game. They played pretty good, I believe, with Adams at the safety.
Yep.
Adams at the safety.
Hooker's missed a handful of games this season.
And Adams has come in, and he's not Amani Hooker, but the defense from a secondary standpoint, they're able to still function at a high level because why? Kevin Byard's back there, and he sort of controls everything that goes on.
And they're getting a pass rush.
And they're getting the pass rush. Now, see, and
that's what I'm worried
the problem.
about.
Yes. Now you don't have Bud Dupree. Now you don't have, more importantly, Jeffrey Simmons. Those two guys are out. I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle. I understand Russell Wilson has been playing poorly, but when you don't have your guys up front that's going to put pressure on that quarterback and get him uncomfortable, this could be the game where he gets comfortable, settle in, and he has a big day.
I just don't want them to try to send a safety blitz and put one-on-one outside with those receivers. They can't do that. If you start doing that because you're not getting pressure with the front and you send a safety, then you're going man-to-man outside with Sutton and with Judy. I don't know why she's on my mind, but with Judy. So they're going to have to figure out a way to make sure those guys step and put pressure on Wilson so they can make plays.
Judge Jerry Judy.
I don't know why Jerry Judy. I don't know why I said Judy. I said just Judy.
That takes us to third down.
Third down.
Russell Wilson has stunk it up this season. He made the Pro Bowl last year, although everybody at quarterback makes the Pro Bowl. He made the except Tannehill. He made the Pro Bowl last year with the Seattle Seahawks. He gets traded in the offseason, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a starting tight end, a defensive tackle, and Drew Lock, all in a package for Russell. A $250 million contract, $49 million a season for Russell Wilson. And the Seahawks are the Broncos are basically stuck there, I believe, until like 2024 with Russell Wilson, or 2026 with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. As far as QBR is considered this year, ESPN's quarterback stat, Russell Wilson is 28th in the league. He is just barely ahead of Carson Wentz, Davis Mills, and Mac Jones. He has been horrendous this year for the Denver Broncos. However, Russell Wilson did lead them back with a fourth-quarter comeback drive against the Jags in London 2 weeks ago, coming off of a bye. What do we make of Russell Wilson with the Broncos?
Well, if Jeffrey Simmons and Bud Dupree was playing, I said, well, we'd end up getting the same old Russell Wilson that we've seen all season. But because those guys are not playing and they can't get that pass rush, it might look a little bit different because he might feel a little bit more comfortable in the huddle. The guy that was the happiest in the world that Jeffrey Simmons was down was Russell Wilson. His family probably jumped for joy. His wife she probably saw that come across her Twitter and was like, yes, baby, Jeffrey's not playing today.
You think more so than Hackett? Because Hackett's probably getting fired at the end of the year with the Broncos.
Exactly. Yes, Jeffrey's not playing today. But, yeah, I mean, he hasn't been nowhere near the quarterback they thought he would be.
Are you shocked at how bad he is?
I am truly. I never thought, and I think I said this over a year ago, I never thought when you're looking at Russell Wilson that I'm looking at a future Hall of Famer. He was a guy that was going to be on the fringe. Eventually he probably would have got in, or eventually he will get in, but he's that fringe. He's not after 5 years or maybe 7, you're in. He's not that guy, because if you look at how his career has gone, when he's had a top-notch defense and a running game, he's been superb. But when he has had to lead the teams haven't been that good, and he hasn't been able to lead them far. So they bring him over here to Denver. They got a knockout defense, but he and the offensive coordinator / head coach are not on the same page. He's not that guy like a Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning, that can just say, you know what, coach, stop talking for a minute. Just don't call him. I got this. He's not that type of quarterback. And for some reason, we always tried to push him up into that stratosphere. He's nowhere near there, that point. But because those guys are down today, we might just see a Russell Wilson that we hadn't seen all season.
You know, it's funny because I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I was talking to a couple of friends the last couple of days. And, I mentioned Elway. They got excited. I said Kubiak. Y'all remember Kubiak?
Oh, yeah.
I said Russell Wilson, and they almost cussed me out. They hate, and I hate to say hate, they dislike Russell Wilson down there because of his play. And the thing about it is he's just not playing like he played in Seattle. I don't know if it's offense. I don't know if he's uncomfortable in the pocket. But whatever it is, he's not playing well. But the only thing that I'm concerned about today is he still poses a threat. And that's what scares me, to where even though his numbers aren't good and even though he's been playing terrible the last 3 or 4 games, I just don't want him to come in here and light it up against our secondary because he wants to prove that he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
That takes us to our fourth and final down.
Fourth down.
Today is Sunday, but in Indianapolis, it's Saturday. Jeff Saturday, hired by the Colts. No coaching experience. They fire Frank Reich. I got sad when I heard the Colts were firing Frank Reich.
Why?
Because it only takes, a broken clock is right twice a day. Mm-hmm. It only takes Jim Irsay to get the next Tony Dungy lined up, and all of a sudden, Indianapolis might be onto something. Instead, the goofball goes out and hires Jeff Saturday.
Goofball.
What do we make of the Colts? And can we officially put them in the same category as Jacksonville? Bad ownership that'll never get better.
You know what? I think more than anything else, this should be a slap in one person and one person alone's face. That's Frank Reich. You were not doing your job was so bad, and I didn't like you so much that I decided to hire a guy in Jeff Saturday who's probably a smart guy, and he understands and knows football. You have to from a center's position. But he said, you know what? You've had all this coaching experience. You've won a Super Bowl. You've led, high-powered offenses. You know what? I'm done with you. I want to hire this guy that has never ran an offense, that has never, coached a team. Well, he's coached a high school team. He hasn't done anything other than be a All-Pro and a Pro Bowler for us when he was here. That's the only thing he's done in regards to leading men. So I'm going to take him over you, Frank Reich. See you later. I mean, what as a coach, and I know you don't want to allow ego to get in, but every coach has an ego. Every coach has an ego.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And you have to, in a sense, to be great. He's probably looking at that and saying, you know what, I'm happy for Jeff, but man, that is a slap in my face. So I don't know how this thing will go. I wish they had the Sunday night game. They should have flexed them into Sunday night so everybody in the world can see this. So the NFL can say, you know what, Irsay, you crazy for this. And we're going to show everybody in the league why you crazy for this.
I mean,
I'm thankful they're not flexing 3-5
I wish they were
against 2-6.
I wish they were.
I mean, it had to be that bad that you fire him in the middle of the season. I mean, it must have been so much turmoil going in, and in my opinion, I love him as a coach. I'm Mr. Nice Guy right now. I like what he does, whatever. But sometimes you got to have a change to get the results that you want. I mean, I'm not saying that Saturday will come in here and change things immediately, but sometimes you need a different attitude, a fresh voice to hear as opposed to the same voice. I know that's kind of cliche. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but
I'm just trying to figure out how long it is till I get to be coach. Because if we're going to hire people off TV like Jeff Saturday to come coach them with, I mean, I got the same amount of experience coaching as he does.
No, you haven't coached a high school team.
No, you ain't even coached a little league.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you're right.
So
Chris has as much experience as Jeff Saturday does. Head coach Chris Sanders.
Let's go.
Coming in here. You talk about a different voice coming in there. Chris Sanders coaching. I'm sure those players are not, especially you take a team that's got like a real, mean guy as a coach. Who's like the meanest coach in the NFL?
I don't know.
Belichick. So Chris Sanders hired as head coach of the Patriots. They wouldn't even know what to do with themselves.
Let's go, guys. This is what I want for the Gipper.
Coming up next, we'll take a look at the Titans offense. Tannehill is back in there. We will take a look at the offense here on the program, live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Coming up next hour on NFL Pregame, Jared, Chris, and D-Mace go inside the playbook, inside the sportsbook, and get an update from the stadium with ESPN's Teron Davenport. It's NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
If you missed the latest from Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Ballard actually had to defend it with I think when we talked about it on Sunday night, Mr. Irsay and I got together and we decided this was the path we thought we were going to go through those conversations, and we really had the hard conversations, and we really, and it's like, dude, we know you had nothing to do with this. We know the old kook locked the door and said, I'm firing the other guy and I'm hiring Jeff Saturday. And you said, what? And he said, yeah, I'm firing him. I can't watch this crap anymore. Oh, we used to have Peyton Manning and we won all these games, and now we got him, and so we got to go this way. And Chris Ballard's like, I I mean, if that's what you want to do, Mr. Ursay, I'll tell you that's what we're going to do. And that's exactly what happened. And it was very uncomfortable.
Tune in Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Joe Rexrode here for OrderGreen.com. Listen, to do the job I do, got to stay on the move at all times. Lots of travel, early mornings. Sometimes it can catch up with you. And when it does, I always enjoy natural and enjoyable ways to de-stress my mind and body. That's why I use a high-quality, wide selection of THC and CBD products from OrderGreen.com. It's not just me. Lots of my friends are on the bandwagon here, including a sick family friend of ours who has gotten great benefits. OrderGreen.com. You subscribe, you save 25% off shipments of gummies, or use promo code Joe20 for 20% off your first purchase. OrderGreen.com.
Being part of Cromwell Media, who owns this station, is a big deal because it's our people that make us what we are. So we're saluting Nicola Spencer and our sales department for 18 years of service. Ted and Holly Klimkowski have put in 12 years as our engineering and IT wizards. Willie Donick, midday host on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and voice of the Predators, celebrates 11 years this month. And Yvette Wright in sales passes the 1-year mark. We salute them all and invite you to join the team. Send us a note at together@cromwellmedia.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
What are the keys to victory on the offensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders go inside the playbook. Brought to you by Ounce of Hope. This is the NFL pregame on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Inside the Playbook is presented by Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company. Titans and Broncos today. Ryan Tannehill returns to the offense, as does Traylon Burks, who was activated off of IR yesterday. He will be in there. Apparently, he's stayed in shape, according to Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing. They're very proud of their first-round pick for his ability to stay in shape. So kudos to Traylon Burks. I do wonder if Tannehill has stayed in shape. They didn't talk about that all week, in the 2 weeks he's missed. But that's neither here nor there. What do we make of the Titans' offense against the Denver defense that is ranked second in the NFL in points allowed and second in the NFL in total yards?
Well, I mean, this is a defense just like the Titans. They're aggressive.
Now, they did lose Bradley Chubb, their best pass rusher, in a trade.
They play smart, and they play fast and physical. So, they may not have the dominant forces like the Titans have, or let's just say dominant force like the Titans have, but they got a bunch of guys that are playing on the same page, and they're playing fast and aggressive. And that secondary is led by Patrick Surtain II, and he's one of the best young corners in the National Football League. So it's good to have potentially Traylon Burks back, because this secondary of the Denver Broncos is pretty good, led by him. So it's good that we may have Traylon Burks back, and it's good that Ryan Tannehill's back in the fold now, because when you're going against a secondary like that, you need your veteran quarterback who knows when and where to throw footballs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the key to the offense, we already know that Derrick Henry's going to get the ball, but also we got to get the receivers more involved. I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, I know everybody's blaming the receivers, but we got to get them involved early. I say get them involved early. Don't just give them one catch every 5 or 6 series. Get those guys involved and let those guys make plays. I mean, Woods needs to be involved more. Westbrook needs to be involved more. I don't know if Conley's playing a lot, but Tannehill's got to figure out a way to get those guys involved. So with Burks coming back, it adds a little bit to the wide receiving core, but he's got to spread that ball around, because you know that defense is going to load the box and dare you to beat him in the pass game.
What do we make of Derrick Henry today? Because even though Denver has a stout defense, they're 22nd in the league against the run, and the Titans have proven that they will run the ball no matter what on anybody. Even if they don't have the threat of a passing game the last 2 games, the Titans have effectively run the football. Derrick Henry over 6 yards a crack last week against Kansas City.
Man, I mean,
no, go ahead.
I mean, that's your bread and butter. I mean, last week, just like you said, he had 114 yards because, we just know what the identity of the Tennessee Titans is. They want to run the football first, pass second. So with Derrick Henry, running the way he is, I mean, he's running with authority. He's running with passion. He's getting to the second level. So if you have a guy like that that's doing those things, he makes everybody around you better. The passing game, the role, that's all those things. So when we get him going, he definitely can be big time in this game.
Well, they're going to have to do something because this is what's going to happen. That's why it's so good to potentially have Treylon Burks back.
Yep.
Because what is going to happen is they're going to load up and they're going to try to stop Derrick Henry. And if they can do that, then, they've won the game. But how many teams have tried to load up on Derrick Henry and actually stopped him? They may have slowed him down a little bit, but they haven't stopped him. So we understand and know what the Denver Broncos are going to do from a front line standpoint. They're going to stack that box, as everybody has, and they're going to try to stop Derrick Henry. That's why it's important that Ryan Tannehill is back and that Treylon Burks is potentially back, because now you got a guy that can beat one-on-one. And even if he doesn't beat him because of his big stature, you can just throw the ball to him and he can find a way to catch it.
And I think the tight ends, Chig, they need to involve Chig a little bit more, because if you look at that linebacking core, the linebacking core is going to be in those gaps, and I say in those gaps, mug to stop the run. So now it allows Chig and Hooper to get open and make those plays. So even though we're talking about the wide receivers and Derrick Henry, the tight ends in this game can be successful, even if it's a 5 or 6 yard catch to keep the chains moving, as opposed to trying to throw it on the perimeter.
Well, they gave up 156 yards to ETN last week.
Oh, yeah.
And he's slow as hell.
But he's a good running back,
ETN is a dynamic runner.
But he's
he's got great vision. He's great vision, man.
He's more quick. He doesn't have the long speed because of the injury, and I'm sure next year it'll be a lot better. But the dude is quick. He's nifty. He knows how to get out of tackles. I'm not saying that Derrick Henry is going to rush for 156 yards, but he's going to put pressure on that defense to stop him from running the football, which, again, I think is good that Treylon Burks is playing. Now, if Treylon Burks wasn't playing, we'd have the same problems we had in weeks prior. Teams are going to stop Derrick Henry. They're going to press outside, and those guys hadn't been able to get off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're going to have a safety come down and really stop the run. So if you take another safety out of that back end, then it allows, just like what Derek said, it allows those receivers to get that one-on-one with the defensive back, and they have to make the plays. It's not, okay, I hope to make the play. But for the Titans to be successful in the game, they have to make plays on the perimeter. I don't know who it's going to be. It can be Woods, Westbrook, Burks, but one of those guys in that receiving corps has to make some doggone plays.
I think you guys are missing the guy that has actually made some plays lately. And
don't you even say it.
Did he say
don't you even say it on offense.
Hillard?
Don't you even say it.
Hooper. It's Hooper. Hooper has, in my opinion, Austin Hooper has earned more of an opportunity because, unlike everybody else, he's actually caught it and done something with it.
There, he got 4 passes.
How much are they paying that man?
And
like $7 million.
$7 million.
And last week he had what?
How much are they paying Robert Woods?
He had 20.
And I say the same thing about Robert Woods. That's why I said I'm glad they got Treylon Burks back.
You like math, right? Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be something.
When he was with the Colts, when they played the Colts here, right? I think he had 17 yards, right, on 2 catches, right?
Austin Hooper?
Yeah.
No, Austin Hooper had like 3 catches for like 50 yards.
No, it was in the 30s. He ain't had no 50-yard game.
I mean, Austin Hooper had probably the 3 biggest catches in the game.
35 that game, and then the last game they did play was, I think he had like 12 yards, right?
I think he was the leading receiver for the Titans.
Yeah, he had to be. He had to be. Catch a pass.
That was a great catch.
Let me do my math. He had 47 yards in 2 games.
That was a great catch, though. Like the one that Malik puts the ball up there, it's a contested catch that he makes.
Hey,
nobody else on this catch is making it.
Hey, Jared.
Who else do you want to throw the ball to?
Hey, Jared.
You want to throw the ball to Chig?
I would throw it to Chig.
I want to throw it to Chig.
Absolutely.
You want to throw it to
has
Chig?
made plays.
One.
Chig, every time Chig has been thrown the ball and he's caught it, he's made a play. Can't say that about Hooper.
Absolutely not.
I can't say that about you. Sound like Crazy Chris. Uncle Chris. You sound like crazy Uncle Chris. Not Chris. You sound like Uncle Chris.
Who else are you going to throw the ball to on this team?
With Ryan Tannehill back in the fold, they can find other guys to throw it to. I am paying Austin Hooper $7 million to do what? The same thing he did last year with Cleveland, which is nothing. He's not He's not
Other than
done
the fact that he
anything.
won you the Colts game.
He made 3 catches.
No. He won that Colts game for this
He
team.
made you 3, Jared, 3 catches out of 8 games.
Thank you.
9 games.
Did he win you the Colts game?
I don't know if he won. What, the defense won you that game?
No, he won
yes,
the Colts
defense.
game.
Who got the interception at the end? Who got the interception? The defense. The defense got you the interception.
40.
Not Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper is.
You can think that he stinks. You can think he stinks. That's fine.
7,
but what you can't do is you can't pretend that he was not the best
He
offensive player against the Colts.
Okay.
In 8 games.
Okay. Listen. I love Eddie Berlin.
Yeah.
No slight to Eddie Berlin.
It's 90 yards in 2 games, Chris.
Eddie Berlin, he had some big returns.
56 against the Colts, 34 against Kansas City last week.
So he barely
56 against the Colts, which their secondary is horrible. And what? 34 against Kansas City?
Has a Titan receiver gotten 56 yards this season?
How many?
Yeah. Woods has.
Woods 85.
Yeah. That was the highest. It was early in the season.
game.
Yeah. He's had the most yards of any receiver this season for the Titans. He did. Yeah.
Well, Westbrook had 7 catches.
And I'm not saying that they should not play Robert Woods. You know, you guys are talking about getting the ball to Chig. Chig's made one big play. Hooper in the last.
But it's opportunities, though.
Yeah, they got to give him the opportunity.
So they don't need to give Hooper the opportunities?
No.
Even though Hooper's making the most of the opportunities?
No, they don't need to get, this guy.
You guys are sitting over here crapping on Hooper. He made 3 huge plays against the Colts.
You did it 4 weeks ago.
Exactly.
No, he did.
You were awful on it.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, now you want to flip.
Yeah.
Oh, now he.
Well, man, okay, he's made those 4 catches, so you had to change your tune about him. Me, I haven't.
No,
I'm
dude.
not, and I'm not because
No.
I understand, and I'm not saying that you don't understand, but what I'm saying is when they pay a guy this much money, and all this hoopla was about bringing on Austin Hooper, and he's going to upgrade our tight end
Which
position.
I never believed in, by the way.
And he hasn't.
He almost got traded.
He has not.
Earlier in the season, he was on the trading block.
No,
he has
wanted
not.
to be on the trading block.
Well, then why did he want to be traded?
Because he didn't feel like he was getting the opportunities. And then he went out against the Colts, and he made the most of the 3 targets he had. He made 3 great catches and won them that game.
But what did you say?
You have to give him credit for that.
No.
You are not giving him credit at all for that Colts game.
I'm talking about what you're
that's
paying
it. You're
him
not
for.
giving him any credit.
I'm not going to give him any credit. I'm going to tell you.
sir.
I'm going to tell you.
Nobody else
I'm
is
not gonna
making
give
that
him
catch.
Zero.
That catch that he made in the Colts game.
That's one catch.
He's not going to make
You're
that
not
catch.
making that catch.
What? You don't see these men's I got? What are you talking
The
about?
ball where he's up in there like Julian Edelman in the Super Bowl.
You act like he jumped over 5 people.
And highlight
He
a real
dropped
catch.
the ball. He dropped the ball
Stop
first time. He juggled it and then caught it. He should have caught it the first time.
It was a great catch.
Hey.
No, it wasn't. It was a routine.
It was
catch.
a third down
Hey.
check down
Hey,
later in the
this
game.
guy.
Tannehill checks it
Okay,
down.
I'm asking
Zaire
everybody out
Hey.
here. If you were a CEO at a company that's paying you $20 million and all of a sudden you got a good report for that quarter, I'm not praising you. I'm paying you $20 million to get a good report.
But check this out,
But
though.
I would give the guy more work to do because
No.
clearly
Hey,
he's doing
I
some
am
good
not
work.
giving you more
Hey,
work.
hey, Mace, just like this. Say, you gave a great illustration. They paying you $20 million on your job, and you show up every other week.
Exactly.
That's exactly what Hooper's doing. He's showing up
Exactly.
every
That's
other
what he's
week.
doing.
And that's more than everybody else who
But I'm not
catches
going
the
to
ball on
praise
this team
him.
is showing
I'm not
up.
going to praise him for that.
Okay,
This is an organization that has been praising
Jared.
Traylon Burks for the fact that he stayed in shape. Like, it's a good thing that an NFL player stayed in shape.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, congratulations. The
You're
NFL
right.
player decided to put the Twinkies down for 5 minutes. Congratulations. Whoa.
People still eat Twinkies, man.
Congratulations, Traylon Burks put down the freaking ding-dongs and the ho-hos for 5 minutes while he had turf toe to do his job where he's making millions of bucks. We got Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing have to dedicate parts of their press conference to give Traylon Burks credit for that, and everybody's like, yeah, he stayed in shape. Way to go. Whereas Austin Hooper makes 3 huge catches to win the Colts game, and you guys give him no credit.
You're giving credit
to
a catch that he should have caught, and he bobbled it.
Yes, which is different than everybody else on this team who doesn't catch the ball, like last week.
You know what? When I was playing,
I don't think I've ever been this far.
And I hate to do this. When I was playing, just because I caught a 15-yard in route on 3rd and 15, and we needed that play. People ain't say, "Oh my goodness!" That was like
that's because
that
you were
supposed
good,
to catch it.
and all these players on this team are not good.
Did you just hear what you said? You said because he's good.
Yeah.
Why aren't you saying that about Hooper?
Hooper's not good.
Thank you.
I'm not saying
you said that earlier.
I'm not saying Hooper's good. I'm saying Hooper is
Wait
the
a minute.
best.
You sound like Uncle Chris.
Hooper is the best of what they have right now from
Chick
an
is better
opportunity
than him.
standpoint.
Chick is better than Hooper.
I think from a talent standpoint.
Well, Chick has more talent, but that doesn't right now. Hooper's producing.
But I'm not going to praise Hooper for making 4 catches in 8 games.
So when you got hurt, did they ever have press conferences where they wanted everybody to know that you stayed in shape?
No.
Okay, congratulations to Derek Mason. He goes to Orange Theory in Green Hills. He stays in shape. Way to go. So proud of you, Derek Mason, for making $8.5 million this season and for deciding, you know what, let's go with the grilled chicken, and the salmon as opposed to, the red meat and the Angus steak. Congratulations to Derek Mason.
You are a jerk.
Hey, man, I am not going to.
No.
You see this play right here?
Brady throws it up for Chris Godwin?
Godwin, that's what they have to do.
What?
And nobody's praising Godwin for that.
Because nobody on this team is Chris Godwin.
You got a point there.
The wide receivers make $12 million combined. Chris Godwin makes 20.
Yeah.
So, you get what you pay for. Defense. Maybe we'll be as fired up on that side of the ball.
Oh, man.
They just threw a ball to Brady, and it got intercepted.
Oh, wow.
Brady didn't throw it. They threw it to Brady. Brady fell down, and they got intercepted. Tampa Bay leads 14-3. Watch the replay. Tampa Bay leads 14-3. We're out at Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge.
Boy, you're crazy.
Defense, what they've got to do with all their injuries. We'll get to that next. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal. And it's happening November 18th, 19th, and 20th. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, Genesis selection is nearly double, with designers flying in their entire collection all on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Luxury pre-owned Rolex is also included. Save up to 35% and get 0 interest financing. Genesis Diamonds. November 18th through 20th only, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win if you sign up with the promo code JGM. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Get paid and get your winnings fast. All in an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Going with the Titans this week because I think the Broncos absolutely stink. So sign up today with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code JGM. And make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only, and your refund is issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. Please see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Tennessee Home Builders wants to build you the home and addition of your dreams. Daniel is a licensed and insured Christian-based contractor serving Middle Tennessee and guarantees superior craftsmanship at the best price, including a free estimate and negotiable contractor fee. For decks, covered porches and patios, remodeling, additions, and custom builds, call Daniel at 615-796-3367 or TennesseeHomeBuilders.net. No job too big or too small.
Robbie Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexrode.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. They're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. What are the keys to victory on the defensive side of the ball for the two-tone blue? Jared Stillman, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders go inside the playbook. Brought to you by Ounce of Hope. This is the NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Inside the Playbook is presented by Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company. The Denver Broncos are 30th this year in points scored, although they are 20th in total offense, which means They've been moving the ball a little bit. Russell Wilson at quarterback has been horrendous this year. Running back has been kind of a mixed bag since Javonte Williams tore his ACL. They've got Latavius Murray, Melvin Gordon, Mike Boone, a collection of guys. And at wide receiver, they've got Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. So we start with the injuries for the Titans. No Jeffrey Simmons, no Bud Dupree, no Amani Hooker, no Zach Cunningham. Chris Sanders, how concerned are we about the Titans' defensive front, which has been great this season and has been deep? How concerned are we about the defensive front affecting Russell Wilson, given the fact that the Titans don't have their big horse in the middle, Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah, they don't have those big guys, but I think what they have to do, the guys that they put in that position, they're going to have to figure out and get pressure. I mean, we looked at Russell Wilson this whole season. When he throws interceptions and when he makes mistakes is when he's uncomfortable in the pocket. And I think that Shane Bowen is going to have to figure out a way to send some pressure. I don't know if they send a corner blitz in the boundary or send a blitz somewhere from the field, but they got to figure out a situation to make Russell Wilson feel uncomfortable. And I don't know where that's going to come from, because when you have Dupree and Simmons and guys like that are out that are dominant on your defense, they're just going to have to figure out a way to get some pressure on Russell Wilson.
Well, they're going to have to because, again, listen, Denver hasn't shown the ability to be consistent as an offense. Russell Wilson has been, okay at best. Let's just say that. He's been okay at best. And to not have those guys up front, it does sort of worry you as a team, well, as a fan and a spectator, that this could be the game because of the guys that are missing. This could be the game that Russell Wilson gets back on track because you don't have the guys to put pressure on him. And then you can't blitz to generate that pressure because you don't want to put your guys on one-on-one in one-on-one situations. So it's going to be critical for Shane Bowen somehow, some way to get pressure on that offense without blitzing many people. We've seen it. Guys have been out before, and Mike Vrabel and Shane Bowen has put together a game plan defensively that was good. Well, he has to do it again. But now you got to do it without Jeffrey Simmons. Before, it was without Bud Dupree or Harold Landry or Amani Hooker or maybe a corner. Now it's without arguably the best player on your team.
And I think, too, and I'm just looking at the game overall, there's two guys that need to prove themselves. That's Russell Wilson and Gordon, the running back. He's got 263 yards. And
I think proving himself for Gordon has left the barn.
I think just to get another job for next year. The reason why I say this is because he's been getting a lot of criticism of not being a dominant, running back, and he's been fumbling a lot. So why not come into Nissan Stadium and get your running game going and get 150 yards, and that's going to put him back in the map to gain that confidence. But I just don't. I know our secondary is going to do okay against the wide receivers because they've been playing well. I just don't want the running game to get started with Gordon because he has a lot to prove.
Yeah, but the best running back's out. Gordon's sort of a journeyman now.
Yeah. I think Gordon stinks.
But he's still the veteran guy.
I'm more worried about both Latavius Murray and Mike Boone than I am.
But he's one of those guys that have a hunger to want to get it done. So that's a scary position.
This is a game where a guy like Melvin Gordon can look almost like the guy he was before. Why?
That's what I'm saying.
Because your big guys are not in there. I mean, I love T.L. Tart. I love those guys, but nobody's Jeffrey Simmons, and everybody understands Jeffrey is the guy that makes all of that happen. And to not have him and to not have Bud Dupree, well, I'm kind of used to not having Bud Dupree, but not having Jeffrey Simmons, that's going to be huge.
So I'm more worried about with Dupree out in the pass rush, but what I do wonder about is just the defensive line as a whole. I think it's been great with Simmons as the number one guy, Autry as the number two guy, T.R. Tart and DeMarcus Walker and Kevin Strong and Mario Edwards, all in that kind of mix. Well, without Simmons in there, Autry moves up to the number one guy. Tart moves up to the number two guy. How much does that make everybody worse from that instance of Autry's a really good player, but I'd much rather have him be my number two guy on the defensive line than my number one guy on the defensive line. And I'd much rather have Tart be my number three guy than my number two guy. How much does that kind of affect the effectiveness of the defensive front without Simmons and everybody else having to kind of step up?
Well, I mean, just from a generic standpoint, I think it does put pressure on those guys to step their game up even higher. But, from what I've seen, and not just talking, hey, Jeffrey Simmons not in, so automatically the defensive line is going to be a tad bit worse. Mm-hmm. But from what I've seen from Tierre Tart and Danico Autry, those guys, they are what Mike Vrabel want them to be, and they're always going to play at a high level, or at least the level they believe is high to them, that they can play it. They're always going to give you 100%. I don't ever question those linemen and whether they're going to give me 100% or not. Now it's, okay, we don't have Jeffrey. Now everybody has to step their game up, not just those two. Mm-hmm. Those two, I believe, are going to step their game up. Now, is it going to be Jeffrey Simmons level? Probably not, but they're going to step up. But that means everybody else across that line needs to step their game up even more.
And I think, too, with Jeffrey Simmons been out, he eats up a lot of those double teams. So the guy that's been dominant on the defense that has to be dominant today is Autry. So Autry's going to get double teamed. So those guys that are have those one-on-one battles, they're going to have to make those plays because Autry's going to demand the attention because he's the main guy that's been getting sacks.
Here's a guy that's going to have to make. I think he's going to have to be sort of a difference maker. I think it's going to have to be Mario Edwards. We saw what he did last week. Did a great job last week. He had 2 sacks or a sack and a half, somewhere around there. He's going to have to elevate his game even higher because he's that guy that can come off the edge and get to the passer. Now those other guys shift inside. Danico Autry shifts inside. Mm-hmm. Tierre Tart, now he's inside. You don't have Bud Dupree. Now Mario Edwards, because teams are not going to look at him and say, we need a double team.
Sure.
Yep. So now he still gets that opportunity to go one-on-one with somebody.
And if they had beaten the Chiefs, I think Mario Edwards probably gets the defensive game ball.
Oh, of course.
For how well he played.
Absolutely.
And, Mario Edwards is not some bum. He's been around the league for a while, and the Titans were glad enough to sign him. I think he's a pretty solid player.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's one thing to be pretty solid when there's nobody paying attention to you, and now everybody's kind of paying attention a little bit. What I wonder about the defense, and this is kind of the football, this is where you guys got to take me through the football angle of this. I see the linebackers for the Titans, whether it's Cunningham when he's in there, Long, it feels like on every play, Dylan Cole, Adams, all those guys for the Titans are in position against offensive teams running the football to make tackles, and they do make them. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of that is Jeffrey Simmons taking up the offensive line and basically allowing David Long to run around wherever and make the tackle. Long's a good player, but with Simmons not in there today, is there a fear that Long may not be as free to make all those tackles?
Well, we've never been in a situation where Jeffrey hasn't been there, so we don't know. I liken it to in no way, shape, or form am I saying Long Jr. is this player, because he's not. He's nowhere near it, and I don't think he ever will be. But when you have someone like Ray Lewis in the middle of the field, and then, no, hear me out.
I knew that's where you were going, but
hear me out. But then you have Big Sam Adams and Saragusa in the middle. Mm-hmm. What happens? They take up those plays. They take up that space, and that great player can be even greater. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now he can roam. Well, when Jeffrey was in there along with Tierre Tart, they commanded at least 3 people to block 2 people. Well, that allows Long to roam and shoot those gaps and make those tackles. Now we're going to see whether he still can do those things. Can he shoot those gaps, even though you may not be, there may not be 3-on-2? Can you still shoot those gaps? Can you still make those same plays that you made with Jeffrey Simmons in the game? Now that he's out, can you make those plays?
With Jeffrey Simmons, what he does is just like what Derek is talking about. He demands a lot of attention. And the thing about with Long, he gets a clean read. When I say a clean read, that means if he sees the ball that Jeffrey's commanding so much attention, he can shoot the gap and make those plays. So I agree with you guys both that we're gonna see if this guy is the real deal because Jeffrey Simmons is not there.
I got some bad news for the Titans. We'll get to that on the other side with the injury report, who's in, who's out for the Titans. We'll do that coming up next live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You love the game.
Predators win it in overtime. Down, Tennessee.
We live the game.
My quarterback needs me to step up.
He can make a defense pay.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome Game 7.
What a stop made by UC Sarah.
The game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Teron Davenport here for Superbook Sports. Can you beat Vegas this football season? Superbook Sports gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. No fancy computer algorithms. No guys across the pond setting lines for American sports. Just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
The Nashville Jam Company is already a super popular weekend breakfast and brunch destination. But with summer over, it's time to put the beach body away for a while. So for fall, they've expanded their offerings and added what they call the Meat and Three menu. Yeah, cool weather and Southern comfort food go hand in hand. And the stars of this show are the hefty meatloaf, Southern fried catfish, slow-cooked pot roast, fried chicken, Salisbury steak, and a slew of other rib, stick, and delicacies. And they have salads, too, if you're into that kind of thing. Come see the new menu Monday through Friday from 10:30 till 2.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have, credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
You're listening to NFL Pregame.
Time now to take a look at who's in, who's out. Live on the pregame show, live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. Once again, the perfect spot to come on out and watch football today. They've got Sunday ticket. They've got TVs everywhere. It is a great spot with a great atmosphere here in Germantown. That's Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. Again, football specials Monday night, Thursday night, 6 to close on Monday and Thursday for football, and all day on Sundays. Out today for the Titans. We already knew Jeffrey Simmons was inactive, as was Bud Dupree and Amani Hooker. Offensive lineman Jordan Roos, wide receiver Chris Connolly is inactive today.
What?
And defensive back Christian Fulton is out today for the Titans. So on defense, the replacements, I would assume, will be Mario Edwards Jr. in for Bud Dupree, Tier Tart in for Jeffrey Simmons, as well as Kevin Strong and DeMarcus Walker and the rotation of guys that we've seen, inside for the Titans. At corner, Elijah Molden returns. He will most likely go to the nickel position, but Terrence Mitchell will probably be outside opposite Roger McCreary, and Dylan Cole, we would assume, will be in at middle linebacker in place of Zach Cunningham. D. Mace, Cortland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy haven't gotten it going because of Russell Wilson this season, but how much do the defensive line injuries, now Christian Fulton, how much does that concern you?
Oh, man, it concerns me a lot. This defense, this team was being carried by their defense the whole season. And to have guys now, we talked about the guys that were out prior. Now you have your best corner in Fulton out. And you got Amani Hooker out. When does it come to a point where enough is enough?
Yeah.
And I just hope it's not this game for the Titans where, listen, we've been able to, because of Coach Vrabel, we've been able to put this thing together and win games and stand strong. But when is enough? When is too many injuries? Mm-hmm. And we may be at a point where too many injuries is too many injuries. I could possibly understand why maybe if they didn't have a Sunday, Thursday game, then maybe some of these guys can play. But when you have a Sunday, Thursday game, I mean, that's tough on the guys that just came off playing 100 plays last week.
And how much of this, too, is the 100 plays?
That's
the
a lot of
fact
plays.
that, the offense didn't do anything on Sunday night against Kansas City. The defense was on the field for 41 minutes. A guy like Simmons on a bad ankle is playing 80 snaps. A guy like Fulton is playing 100 snaps. And now
that's 2 games.
They can't go because the Titans put their defense out there on the field too much.
These guys essentially played 2 games in one, because there's no way Jeffrey Simmons should be getting 80 snaps. He should be getting 30, anywhere from 35, somewhere around there. But when you got to go out there almost 100 times and knowing Jeffrey Simmons, it's I gave my all almost 100 times on a bum ankle. That's not good moving forward. That's why I said, is this the point where too many injuries is too many injuries and it's catching up with you now?
Well, let me ask you this question. I mean, and I'm going to throw this out here. We talk about players being in shape and really working out in the offseason. Do you think this is a token to why this is happening because they're not playing in these preseason games? And go ahead.
No, I don't know what it could possibly be, man.
I mean, we're in November.
Yeah, but I know. But the thing about it is when we played, Derek, we had 4 preseason games. We played. Were we ever out that much?
No,
we was consistently in the game because we were adapted in the preseason of taking that punishment, getting hit, doing 2-a-days, all those things because we played in the game. Then now we get in the season, we were conditioned to handle those things. So I'm just throwing it out there. With them guys not going in the preseason, do you think they're conditioned to really handle all the stuff that's going on?
It's almost like this. We want you to play more, but with less time to prepare.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's basically what it is.
Yep.
Because now they're asking these guys to play 17 games, but they're not giving them the time to prepare as a team together in the offseason and conditioning and everything else. Well, I'm going to take away this in the offseason, but say you got to play one more game.
And
over the last 2 seasons, this Titan team has probably been, if they ranked teams in regards to their injuries, they got to be number 1 the last 2 years. They have to be.
Well, it was like a badge of honor in 2021 that all those guys, they 91 guys, and they found a way. But 2 things that really stood out to me. Number 1 is that it's happened again this year. It's the same thing this year of, all these guys are hurt. They found a way. And I'm like, it'd be really nice for those guys to not get hurt and them still find a way. And the second thing that stands out to me is that A.J. Brown goes off to Philadelphia. He was hurt on every single freaking injury report there was. A.J. Brown was on it. It was a knee. It was a chest. It was a hamstring. It was a sternum. It was a calf. A.J. Brown goes to Philadelphia, and I don't see A.J. Brown on the injury report.
Not at all.
And so I'm kind of looking at the Titans like, so why is A.J. not getting hurt in Philadelphia? Because it's not like he's not getting the ball in Philly. He's getting the ball plenty in Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, the Titans just could be, because I've seen this before, the Titans could be one of those organizations where, when they have you, they work you hard. They grind you. And it's like, when do we get a break? Listen, I've been through it before with Coach Harbaugh. Coming in as a first-year coach, his first 3 years, it was grind. And guys were getting hurt. It got to a point where the veterans guy, we had to stand up like, listen, Coach, we'll run through a wall for you. Yeah. We will. But you got to back off because guys are getting hurt in preseason. We had guys getting hurt during camp.
Wow.
So we're like, we need a break. We'll run through. We'll do whatever you want us to do, Coach, but you got to give us a break too. I think that's what is going on with the Titans, that the way they run their organization and the way Vrabel runs his team is almost like Bill Belichick ran the New England Patriots. It's, okay, I'm going to work you hard. If you get hurt, then I just got somebody else that'll replace you. I don't care. I'm going to put somebody else up. Let's go. Because I know this guy's going to play hard for me. Not to say you didn't, but you can't play hard for me no more. You're hurt. Get healthy and come on back. They don't. It's almost like we don't care, because we got somebody else behind you.
And I'm not comparing Jeff Fisher to Vrabel, but Jeff Fisher was really good at that. He knew how to work us hard. He knew when it was time that we need to back away, and that's why a lot of guys in that 1999 season wasn't hurt, because we understood how to prepare. We understand how to work out, but also the head coach knew how to back down and give us our rest.
If you're just joining us, Christian Fulton inactive today for the Titans with a hamstring. He joins Bud Dupree, Zach Cunningham, who was placed on IR yesterday. Jeffrey Simmons and Amani Hooker is out. Do you guys think there's any chance that after the 100 plays against Kansas City, the Titans looked at this game on Sunday and thought, I can't have them both for 100 plays Sunday, 70 plays Sunday, and then 70 plays Thursday against the Packers?
That's too much.
That's a lot, man.
And, so maybe Hooker or maybe Fulton could have gone, but it's a hamstring, so it's like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to have him. Same with Simmons. I'm not going to be able to have him for Sunday and Thursday. Let's see if I can have him for Thursday and then the next Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be very careful with guys as the season go on, because guys are going to get nicks and bruises. Guys are going to get physically tired, mentally tired. So you got to try to find a way to give them, a sense of I get a chance to regroup. I get a chance to get re-energized. And if my defense, I guarantee you, if the defense had played 65 plays and still lost the game again, I'm pretty sure that Jeffrey Simmons more than likely probably would have played today. Would he would have been a little bit sore? Absolutely, because he played. But to play 2 games in one, that's tough.
That's a lot, man.
And essentially that's what they did. With almost 100 plays, you're playing 2 games in one, or at least you're playing a game and a half in one game.
Out for the Broncos. This should be at least noteworthy. Out for the Broncos, wide receiver K.J. Hamler, corner Darius Phillips, running back Marlon Mack, outside linebacker Baron Browning, tackle Cam Fleming, tight end Andrew Beck, defensive lineman Ioma Uwazaruki is out. But this is a big one. Safety Justin Simmons is out today for them. He is an all-pro safety, probably one of the best 2 or 3 safeties in the NFL. He is inactive today for the Broncos against the Titans.
Well, I mean, I guess it does matter from the standpoint of when you add that guy, when that guy's in the box. You trust the guy that's in the box that's going to make that tackle. Simmons is their all-pro guy. You trust that when he comes in the box, he's going to make that tackle.
Well, and on top of that, I think he's really good in the secondary as far as. Yeah. But also, we have to look at it as they're really not playing with 2 of their 3 best defensive players because they traded Bradley Chubb to Miami.
Yeah.
So, Surtain, Simmons, and Chubb, I thought were their 3 best defensive players. Simmons is out, Chubb is in Miami, and Surtain is a really, really, really good corner.
So it just takes away playmakers. It takes away your playmakers, and other guys got to step up. But when you're playing a team like the Titans, you got to drop that extra guy in the box, and you got to trust that, 1, he's going to make the right call, 2, that he's going to make the tackle when the tackle is there to be made. When Derrick Henry's run downhill, I mean, how many guys are going to make that tackle? Even all-pro guys sometimes miss it. Now you're throwing in the backup. It's going to be tough. But for the Titans, it's good because now they can lean even more heavier on Derrick Henry.
Ryan Tannehill is in today for the Titans. How's he looked in the ankle? TD is at the stadium. We'll get an update from Teron Davenport, and we'll do that next live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge in Germantown. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It's back. Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room Sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top-of-the-line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great! And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the Ultimate Game Room Sale.
The Ultimate Game Room Sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
everybody, Big Joe here for Apple Collision Centers. And you know I'm always on the go, but the distraction that an automobile accident causes could even slow my pace down to a stop. But my friend and CEO of Apple Collision Centers, Stan Harrison, has a plan to get you and I back on the road and fast.
We at Apple Collision Centers know you deserve the best quality service. We always recommend original equipment parts, and we use only the best Sherwin-Williams finishes. 3 convenient locations, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Old Hickory. And you can always visit us online for your estimate needs at applecollisioncenters.com.
If you missed the latest on Chase, Willie, and D-Mace,
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck, he joins us every Tuesday at noon.
You know, for anyone who saw the sequence of plays for Josh Allen, it is a bit curious. You know, he's going to throw the football, the ball gets knocked out of his hands. It's definitely a bad-looking play for Josh Allen in terms of, like, did he really hurt his elbow? Because I thought he did live. I thought the way that he was grabbing at it, you know, certainly was alarming. Now, he launches the ball way down the field, I believe the very next play. I would just say this, like, if they're evaluating his UCL, which is what they've said they're doing, and he can't go, or there's some concern there because of the long prospects of his career, Buffalo no longer is a playoff team.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is NFL Pregame.
Live from Sunny's Patio Pub and Refuge, it is the pregame show. Jeffrey Simmons out today for the Titans. Christian Fulton out today for the Titans. Bud Dupree out, but Ryan Tannehill is in. He is active. Malik Willis will back him up today. TD is live at Nissan Stadium. TD, what did we see out of Ryan Tannehill on the field today?
Well, he actually was out here, and this time he was working like play action and those type of looks. He was, you know, on the move, and it was good to see, you know, that he didn't have any issues. He even, you know, after a couple throws, he bounced a little bit. You know, that lets you know. Anytime you're bouncing on the ankle, you know, you're good to go. So whatever magic potion they gave him pregame, it's working.
So does he look, as far as the movements are concerned, does he look like he's hampered in any way from a mobility standpoint, TD?
No, and that's what I'm saying. It didn't look like he had any issues. But, of course, you know, it's not full speed rollouts and those type of things. But I think, you know, as we talked about, Jared, on Thursday, that thing called adrenaline, that does a lot. So I don't think that he's going to have too many issues. You know, for his sake, hopefully he doesn't get rolled up on or anything like that again.
Now, TD, how does it affect them? Not only is Jeffrey Simmons down, but Bud Dupree's down, and then Amani Hooker's down, and obviously Fulton is down too. How does that affect them from a defensive standpoint, and who are in for those guys that are down? Because we've seen this from Vrabel before. You got guys down, they insert guys, but then that whole unit step up. But this is different to me, TD, because you got arguably your best player on the team. He's down.
Yeah, I mean, and not only best player, you could say best players. Plural, you know, because there's multiple guys. I think we could start in the secondary. Amani Hooker is a guy, you know, sometimes they go big nickel. They would have Kevin Byard, Hooker, and Andrew Adams in there, you know, when they want that big nickel to still to be able to defend the pass but also to run. I think now, you know, with Fulton being out and Hooker being out, you'll see Adams. You're going to see Josh Kalu again. You know, Lonnie Johnson will get his reps. But then
now,
Elijah Molden, you know, so having Molden active is major. So, you know, he'll be the nickel guy. You got, you know, Roger McCreary and Terrence Mitchell, and they'll probably rotate Farley in. But the thing to watch in that nickel, you got Molden going against, you know, whether it's KJ Hamler or Judy, whoever they have in there, vertically, you know, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Because we know Molden has had problems with that before. So that's something to watch. As far as up front, I mean, when you lose Simmons and Dupree, like that's that's a major loss. But fortunately for the Titans, you got Nico Autry quietly playing as well as any other defensive end, lineman, whatever you want to call him, in the league, and then Pierre Tart is coming along. He told me that he had, because the illness earlier, it was actually migraines. He was suffering from migraines, but he's good to go now. So you got that. Kevin Strong is back. So they have that rotation, and they called up Larrell Murchison. So, they have depth there, but it's obviously not the same as Jeffrey Simmons.
Now, do you think the offense, from a schematic standpoint, do you think we're going to see things far different from what we've seen the last 2 weeks, even though Ryan Tannehill may not be 100%?
Yeah, I do, because you could work that play action, right? But you don't have to boot them. When they play action to the glance route, and that's something, it's a quick play fake throw. And when you have a big body like Treylon Burks back out there, I think that's a major thing. And if you notice when he was gone, you didn't really see too much of that, that play action, which was, the bread and butter of this offense over the last 3 or 4 years. So I think that's what you'll see different. Obviously, getting in and out of, situations as far as checks and things like that, with Tannehill having so much time in his offense, that's going to be better than it was with Willis.
Last week, TD, the wide receivers had 0 catches. You talked about a little bit earlier this season. You got Burks coming back. What does, Todd Downing need to do to get these receivers more involved in this passing game?
Yeah, man, it's all about, scheming to get guys open. When you have the worst degree of separation, the 4th worst in the last 5 years, the worst this year in a game, you as a play caller have to take it upon yourself to make sure guys get open. So what does that mean? Bunch formation, 0 splits. You get switch release and those type of things. Like we talked about Tyrone Hill, it creates space, and that's the thing that you have to do, create natural space. And that's what Todd Downing has to do. You notice I snuck your nickname in there, too.
Yeah. Hey, last week the Titans were 1 for 11 on 3rd down. What do they need to do to be better on 3rd down? Because that's just bad having, 1 for 11 on 3rd down.
Honestly, you got to get better on 1st and 2nd down. And that was a part of the reason why you didn't see as many carries from Derrick Henry, because they'll run on 1st down, and they get in 2nd and 9, 2nd and 7, and throw the ball, and it's incomplete. Now you're in 3rd and long, and, pass rushers can rush the passes. So you have to be more effective on 1st and 2nd down. That's something that, they're continuing to work on. And it's just about getting better games early in the series to get you in a better situation on 3rd down.
TD, what do we make of this CJ Board, who the Titans elevated up off the practice squad? They deactivated Chris Conley today, which means Board is active and probably will play in some capacity. What do they expect out of him? What do we know about him as a receiver or a special teamer?
Yeah, that was interesting. I was actually talking to Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports about that. We looked on the inactives, and it said that he wasn't on the list, and Conley was. I think, I'm not too familiar with CJ Board. I know he's not. He worked, so he wore number 1 this week. So he was for scout team doing, KJ Hamler giving that look. So I'm not sure what to expect from him. Honestly, I don't even know if he'll be in the rotation because, they work Hollister so much, and you got Burks in there. So that one is just something that remains to be seen. But Conley didn't do special teams, so I don't know, if Burks Board being active means he's going to be, just a guy, a body to have in case or a special teamer.
Teron Davenport at the stadium, as always. TD, great stuff. We'll look for your breakdowns after the game. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate
you, Sam.
TD from the stadium. Guy. TD says he doesn't see any restrictions in Tannehill from a mobility standpoint. What do we make of that?
Well, that's good. That means that means that, they were able to, get him back to a point where, he's almost 100%. I'm not going to say he's 100%. He's almost 100%. And, he allows them to do some of the things that they want to do as an offense. That's basically what it does. Now, how effective is it going to be? I don't know, because with Tannehill, this is an inept offense. I don't know how good this offense is going to be now that Tannehill's back. He gives them a sense of leadership, a sense of calmness in the huddle. But beside that, from a play standpoint, does he give you – he gives you a little bit more than what Malik gave you, but how much more? Based upon what we've seen the first, 6 games he played.
How much more does Tannehill give you than Malik?
I'm just saying I'm saying from this standpoint, yes, the offense is going to be better, but is it going – it's not like it's light years better.
Right. It is literally 2 times better.
No, it's not. From this – I'm looking at it from this standpoint, Jared. This offense, they're going to be able to do more things because Ryan's underneath center, but they're not going to average any more points. They're not going to get any more big plays. We've seen this team with Ryan Tannehill for the first 6 games, and we've seen this team without Ryan Tannehill. I don't believe that this offense is going to be night and day better because he's in it. What he does give them is that calmness in the huddle, that if we need to go on a 2-minute drive, we can because we got Ryan at quarterback.
And I think with Ryan, and the difference between Malik is the decision making. I mean, that's all. I mean, you're talking about numbers wise. It's a little difference, but it's not, extreme. It's just the decision making that Ryan Tannehill, that if a blitz comes, I throw it away as opposed to throw it an interception. And I think, with the game with Tannehill coming back, I'm not worried about the first quarter. I'm worried about the third quarter to see if that angle's still going to hold up.
The Titans are averaging 274.2 yards per game, which is terrible.
It's horrible.
Terrible. With Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. What do you guys think that they've had with Malik Willis?
About 195.
Okay, so in the 2 games as far as total yardage is concerned for the Titans, against Kansas City they had 229, and against Houston they had 354. Now the 354, that was Derrick Henry running the ball up the middle. But again, to me, Ryan Tannehill, the offense is almost doubly better. The passing game is it's night and day better when Tannehill's in there. Tannehill is, even though he's not great, he's a legitimate starting quarterback. I don't even know if Malik Willis is going to be a backup in the NFL.
Well, I think he'd be a backup.
I don't know that for sure. He's not a backup right now.
He's a backup right now.
Yes, he is.
But he's not actually good at being a backup.
But he's a backup right now.
Well, do you think Caleb Farley is a backup in the NFL?
No, no.
Do you think Caleb Farley is a backup?
Caleb Farley doesn't even play when the guys go down. He doesn't even play.
I know.
So he's not even a backup.
But you don't even think he's a corner in the NFL.
I think he's a safety. That's what I believe he is. He's a safety.
So you don't even think, even though he's technically a corner, you don't even think he's a corner. That's my point.
But I don't
even think Malik's a backup right now.
I don't think he. I'm not going to say Caleb Farley can't play in this league because I think he can, but he can't play that position for a long period of time in this league. He needs to be a safety.
Did it not scare you when TD said that he thinks that Farley's going to get worked in the mix a little bit at corner with Fulton out?
Yeah, it does.
It scares me.
Yeah, he's not a corner. I think he's a safety in this league.
I don't even think he's that.
Okay.
I just don't think he's an NFL player.
So what if they send a safety blitz and leaves him on an island out there?
Well, if they do that, then they need to fire the coach.
Yeah, Bowens doesn't need to be the coach if he's going to put Caleb Farley on an island.
If they're going to put Caleb Farley on an island with Jerry Jeudy.
They did it against Washington.
Yeah, and then you learn.
Exactly, absolutely. That's why we will not do that again.
And then you learn. Yeah. Coming up next, our picks to click, plus Mike Vrabel's keys to the game, and, of course, our game day predictions and much more. Live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge in Germantown. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Coming up next hour on NFL Pregame, Jared, Chris, and D-Mace make their picks to click and final predictions for the upcoming game. We're inching closer to kickoff, and you're listening to NFL Pregame on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
For the love of Tennessee at dawn. For the love of the fight. For the love of having nowhere else you'd rather be. For the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
It's back. Family Family Leisure's Ultimate Game Room sale is back.
Okay, so what's that mean?
That means huge discounts, up to 50% off on all kinds of game room furniture and accessories.
Like what?
Up to 50% off on slate pool tables from Brunswick and Legacy Billiards. Prices start as low as $14.99 installed, plus the matching bars and game tables. Even poker tables to complete our game room are on sale as well. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Wow, perfect for Christmas.
Family Leisure is also featuring huge savings on massage chairs and home theater seating. Full body massage chairs starting at only $9.99. And the top of the line 40 massage chair is more than half off at $29.99.
What about the theater seating?
Family Leisure guarantees to be half off anyone's home theater seating. 3-piece recliner sets start at only $9.99. Full power recline real leather seats are only $19.99.
That's great. And they have stand-up and desktop arcade games with over 600 games, shuffleboards, foosball, and air hockey tables.
It really is the ultimate game room sale.
The ultimate game room sale going on now at both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
312 Pizza Company is home to Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pregame, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air. The game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
This is NFL Pregame, and it's time for Jared Stillman and former NFL wide receivers Derek Mason and Chris Sanders to make their picks to click.
Bring it on, chump. Let's go.
Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Time now to make our picks to click on the pregame show presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Picks to click. Now, Ryan Tannehill is in today for the Titans, as is Traylon Burks, but Jeffrey Simmons, Amani Hooker, Christian Fulton, Bud Dupree, and Zach Cunningham are all out today for the Titans. With that, there's one more who's out today for the Titans, too. Wide receiver Chris Connolly
I can't pick
is
him.
out today for the Titans.
I gotta race it.
After his horrendous drop on Sunday Night Football. So Chris Sanders cannot make him his pick to click like he did last week. Chris Sanders, who's your click on offense today?
I'm going to go with Chig. And the reason why I picked Chig is I know Ryan Tannehill is probably not going to do a lot of boots and rollouts. But I think he's going to throw the ball quick and throw it to Chig and let him make some plays. I mean, somebody needs to get a spark in this offense other than Derrick Henry. And I think Chig is going to be the guy to make an explosive play.
I do want to put a giant asterisk down here by picks to click. If people are new to this, program, Derrick Henry is not allowed to be picked.
You pick him every other week.
I haven't picked him this season. We made the rule that
we
you
made
can't pick Derrick Henry.
Or Simmons.
So when people are like, no, you pick Simmons. So when you sit there thinking, like, why are we picking Chikakonkwo and not Derrick Henry? It's because Derrick Henry's not allowed to be picked. Derrick, your pick.
On offense, oh, my goodness. Do we know if Traylon's playing or not? I think he's
active.
He's active. So if he's playing, then he has to be my pick to click. He has to be the guy that opens up that defense for the Tennessee Titans, meaning if they want to sit there and they want to pack the boxes every other team does with Derrick Henry, then they need somebody on the outside that can make plays, make those 50-50 grabs. And to me, the only guy that can do that from our wide receiver standpoint, or at least showed it, is Traylon Burks. So to me, he doesn't have to have a 100-yard game, but he got to make at least 2 big plays in this game, and I believe he will.
For me, Austin Hooper is my pick to click. Chris Sanders and Derek Mason have been talking bad about Austin Hooper for a month now. And all Austin Hooper did in the last time the Titans had a legitimate passing game in a game they went into against the Colts was make 3 huge catches, all for first downs, all that led to Titan scores, 2 of which were on 3rd down. And just to tell you why Austin Hooper needs opportunities, because, boy, Chris loves complaining about guys don't get opportunities. Austin Hooper, 3 targets, 2 catches against Kansas City, which is better than anybody else because it wasn't like a lot of people catching the ball against Kansas City. And I thought the 3rd one he got interfered on, and they didn't call it.
He should have ran through that and caught it. Yeah. He didn't even get off the line of scrimmage.
1 target
Gotta be better.
for 1 catch against Houston. Blame Malik for that. 3 targets for 3 catches against Indianapolis, 56 yards, 3 first downs. 1 catch on one target for 7 yards and a first down in the red zone against Washington.
He got to get separation.
He's got to get some more targets.
He hasn't gotten separation.
Okay.
I can't target a guy.
Neither have the other guys, and they suck.
If he don't, I can't target a guy if he's not getting open.
You can target
Jared.
Westbrook Akine all you want. He ain't going to catch the ball.
But when I target him, he's open. He just dropped the ball.
All those numbers you just named, he got 8 catches.
Yeah, you got a point there.
All you ever do is complain about opportunities.
3 plus 3 is 6 plus 2, that's
You
8.
defended these bum wide receivers last week because
They
you
got
said they weren't
opportunities.
getting the opportunities.
Traylon Burks
He's not getting the opportunities.
Traylon Burks hasn't played.
And all I'm saying is they owe him the opportunities, and he will get them today because I think Tannehill realizes all these other guys are unreliable and stink, and Hooper kind of stinks, but he's more reliable. So I am going to get the ball to Hooper.
Okay,
My pick to click.
If that's your pick to click, then okay, I can't say anything about it.
It's better than Chris Conley.
You got a point there, yeah. You got a point there.
Defense, Chris Sanders, who you got?
Hey, since Fulton's out in the secondary, and I think the guy that has to be big is Byron. I mean, I think I pick him every other week because I know he's been playing. I know he's been making a lot of tackles, but I want to see some interceptions because with Fulton out, you better believe Russell Wilson is going to challenge that secondary. So I think that Byron can be big and make a key interception for the Tennessee Titans victory.
For me, it has to be Mario Edwards Jr.
Hey, I like Mario Edwards Jr. I was thinking about picking him.
He had a sack. He had 2 quarterback hits last week. He played really, really well for this team as a backup. Now he gets an opportunity to play even more without Jeffrey Simmons in the game. To me, he has to get some type of penetration on the outside for this team. He has to speed up the process for Russell Wilson because – as we've seen, when Russell Wilson got to sit back there and got to make decisions and he's tapping his feet and patting the ball with his hands, that's not good for the Denver Broncos. So to me, Edwards is the guy that needs to change what Denver is capable of doing from an offensive standpoint.
Would you use Edwards more than you would say use Weaver to replace Bud Dupree?
I'm not going to say I would use them more because I think both guys have come in and they've done a good job. But if you want to get that outside rush, because you still believe that moving Danico Autry inside, having Tier Tart, you're still going to get that push up front, then I just think either one of those guys. But to me, you got to have that guy to get that outside presence. So Edwards has to be, he's a guy that I think is going to have 2 sacks. And maybe another 2 quarterback hits or 2 quarterback pressures.
My pick to click is Danico Autry, and I use Danico Autry as the example here simply because he is stepping into Jeffrey Simmons' role. Now, Autry has been fantastic this year at his own role, but now more responsibility is going to be added to Autry with Simmons out of there. It would be like when you two played together. If one of you was out, you would know that, hey, there's more of a responsibility in the passing game with the other guy out. That's how I feel about Danico Autry today. And unlike a lot of these other guys that we're picking, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I think Danico Autry can do it.
Yeah.
When he was the number 1 guy in Indianapolis, he made a Pro Bowl in 2018. I think that Danico Autry is going to play a huge role in stopping the run so the Titans don't have to commit extra guys into the box to try to stop whether it's Boone or Latavius Murray or Melvin Gordon, that they can stop him. But also, Autry has been one of the Titans' most consistent pass rushers this year, and he's going to have to get to Russell Wilson. So I look at Danico Autry as a big, big player in today's game.
I mean, go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it.
He's going to have to be, along with I just think it has to be that defensive front. Now, you pick Danico Autry. I pick Mario Edwards Jr. I think one or both of those guys have to step up big. Danico Autry has always been just consistent for this team, and he's sort of like Tier Tart. They get overshadowed because of Jeffrey Simmons, and rightfully so. But these guys are an integral part of what they do from a defensive standpoint. So whether it's Danico Autry or whether it's Mario Edwards Jr., these guys got to put pressure on the quarterback.
I think he's definitely going to earn his money because when Simmons was in the game, Simmons was eating up those double teams. And I think not the Titans, but the Broncos offensive lines are going to see that who's the most dominant on the defensive line is Autry. So he's going to have to defeat a lot of double teams today. So I think he's going to earn his money. I think he's going to be great at what he does. But the thing I love about him, he's been consistent from day one, putting pressure on the quarterback.
Time out. Those are our picks to click, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. TD has texted me and says that C.J. Board will be one of the Titans' punt returners today. So what do we think about that?
Who is that?
As the greatest punt returner in the history of the Titans. And we know what Chris.
I think was the greatest return man they've had. Mariani. Pac-Man and Mariani.
You were better than Mariani.
Mariani was good. I love Mariani as a returner, man. He was just awesome. But that shows you, I think they want more out of a guy than just to catch the football, because Robert Woods is just catching it, but they're not getting anything out of it. They want to be able to catch the ball and then get something out of it. So I can understand why they are elevating him to be their punt returner.
Where'd this guy come from?
I don't know anything about him.
I don't.
In fact, let me
discover. I'm being honest. I don't know what is
here
going
about C.J. Board, because remember they did this a couple years ago with a guy by the name of Rashad Davis, and he was literally there just to catch the punts. And then Tannehill hit him with a ball right in the face mask. And I was like, and it was a crucial game. And I'm like, what are you throwing to this guy I've never heard of before? And he hit him squared. C.J. Board has 3 years of experience. He's 28 years old out of UT Chattanooga, 6'1", 181 pounds. And where it says biography, he does not have a biography.
Hey, that's the guy you put
I'll come back
there.
and return punts if they want me to.
There you go. His career high in 2020, 14 games, 11 catches for 101 yards with the Giants. He does not have a touchdown, and he has fumbled the ball one time last year. He played last year for the Giants. 6 games, 4 catches for 51 yards. Trying to see if there's any punt return stats here. I don't
the guy you want to
see
put back
any,
there.
so that's who's... That's who's back there for the Titans.
That's who you want back there.
And again, his bio is no bio.
That's the guy you want back there.
That's who's back there for the
Titans must have saw something in him that they're putting him as their punt return.
Hey, you have no bio? You're our guy.
Time now to take a look at the latest line today, presented by Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook app in Vegas. Download their app today. The Titans are 2.5-point favorites. That has dropped from where the game opened, as the Titans at 3-point favorites. But how about this? The over-under on the game, 39.5 points. Vegas is expecting a very low-scoring game today. And first-time touchdown scorer. So the first touchdown scorer of the game, I found to be fascinating. Derrick Henry is the leader at plus 360. Everybody else, plus 1,100 for Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Latavius Murray. Plus 1,200 for Melvin Gordon, plus 1,200 for Greg Dulcich. So basically, Vegas is telling us that they don't expect anybody except for Derrick Henry to score for the Titans today, as he has
unreal.
A plus 360 to score the first touchdown today. Those are the latest lines presented by Superbook Sports. Voted the #1 sportsbook app in Vegas. Download their app today. Coming up next, Mike Vrabel's keys to a Titans victory, plus our game day predictions. Who's going to win and why? We'll do that next. Live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge. Once again, they got football specials all day today because it's a Sunday, and football specials on Monday and Thursday from 6 to close. They've got $20 Montucky Cold Snack Beer Buckets, $8 Dickel 8-year bourbon drinks, $7 Rise and Shine shots, $5 Bloody Marys, and they've got a great atmosphere out here in Germantown, right by Nissan Stadium. They got the cabanas. Of course, they've got Sunday ticket. Every game will be on. I know this. I was here a couple weeks ago when the Titans played the Texans at Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge, where we are. It's the pregame show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guy.
They'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and last sale of the year is coming. November 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's an extraordinary event. With savings of 20, 25, up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets. Nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day store-wide sale. Acclaimed designers will be flying in with expanded collections and special pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. Luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. It's the final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35%. Genesis Diamond, November 18th through 20th only. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is sign up with promo code ROB. It's been a great year in the NFL so far. My beloved Packers are bad. I would think about voting against them and betting against them every single time. And the Titans just continue to be impressive week after week. Titans and Broncos coming up on Sunday. I'd go with the Titans in that game, but you take it any way you want to take it. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Make sure you sign up today with promo code ROB for your no-sweat first bet. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
If you missed the latest from Stillman & Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Chris Sanders is our guest. I have a lot better feeling about this football team after what I saw on Sunday. How do you feel about what happened Sunday?
You know what, Jared, that's a great question, man, because these guys care, man. And I'm going to tell you how I know that these guys care. When they did the interviews, and I was watching, because I like to watch the little things that's going on to see if everybody's on board. Look at those guys' eyes. Those guys were almost in tears because they lost. They were almost in tears because they gave everything they got, and they lost. Listen, I understand that the offense is not pretty. I understand that they make mistakes. But when you have guys on this team that cares, you got guys that are getting interviewed that their eyes are watering. Their eyes are like, man, or their emotions are so down because they wanted to win. I believe in this team.
Tune in Stillman & Company with Jared Stillman. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
There's the 2-minute warning in Munich where Tampa Bay leads 21-16 on Seattle. Tampa Bay looking to ice the game. Tom Brady's played great. And Julio Jones, D-Mace, has a touchdown today for Tampa Bay. Finally good to see Julio Jones actually do something. So with that, it's time for Mike Vrabel's keys for a Titans victory against the Broncos. We start defensively, and a lot of people, when you think the Broncos, you think about the disappointment that has been Russell Wilson. Mike Vrabel, though, is worried about the running game and the fact that the Broncos can use their running game to set up their passing game.
That's what they've done. That's what they want to do. That's what this offense is designed around, and it allows them to create other opportunities for the receivers if they can do that. You know, Russell Wilson has always been good at play action. That's something that he's done well in Seattle. And if it's not there, we know that he can extend. And part of that stop on the run is going to be the quarterback and scrambling around. And they don't have many designed runs for him, but his ability to extend the plays and keep them alive, you know, is just as critical as stopping the run when they hand it to, you know, Murray or Gordon or Edmonds or whoever that may be. You know, we've got some guys that have batted some passes down at the line of scrimmage. I mean, we even got Mahomes once or twice, and he had only had 4 or 5 coming into the game. So as good as he was at that, we were still able to work on it and focus on it. But being able to do that is something that's going to be critical.
Derek, why do you think Vrabel's worried about the run when the Broncos are 21st in the league in running it?
Because they don't have Jeffrey Simmons, and they don't have some of these guys that Vrabel is used to having there. I don't think Vrabel has ever been this concerned verbally about someone running a football. Why? Because you got Jeffrey Simmons, you got Danico Autry, then you can rotate Tier Tart, you have Bud Dupree on the outside. So your thought going into the game when you had those guys, listen, I know we're going to stop the run more than likely. So this is not a point of emphasis where I need to bring up in the media. I know we're going to stop it all. Is it a talking point? Absolutely. Stop the run, make them one-dimensional. But I think this week it was more of an emphasis. Why? Because Jeffrey's not there and Bud Dupree's not there. Amani Hooker's not there. Guys that you depend on to help stop the run, they're no longer there. So now there has to be this concentrated effort on everybody, not just the front seven, but the guys in the back end to make sure that the Denver Broncos run game does not get established, because if it gets established, you're already missing Fulton. You're already missing Amani Hooker in the back end. Your corner and your safety is out. If we can't stop the run, now we got to load up. Now we leave ourselves exposed in the pass.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of saying a little earlier. I mean, you kind of laughed at me a little bit. I was like Gordon, because Gordon is a guy that's still explosive. He's a guy that can take a 5-yard inside zone or outside zone and take it the distance, and that just kind of scares me a little bit. So, even though we don't have those guys, we talked about Dupree, we talked about Simmons, we talked about all those guys. I think Shane Bourne is going to have to figure out a way to make sure the defense doesn't give up those explosive runs by Gordon.
The second key for Mike Vrabel is not about what the offense does on third down, but what the offense does on first and second down.
We can't play this game or any game right now, and for that matter, in third and long, which leads to being efficient on first and second down, staying ahead of the chains, dictating the terms, making sure that we're not having critical penalties, critical mistakes that lead to 2nd and 15, 3rd and 10. Defense is too good. We've talked about that in the past. So that's where it's about. And we're close, and I'm confident that this week we're going to continue to take steps toward doing that.
That was the big problem in the second half against Kansas City, Chris, was too often they found themselves in third and long with Malik at quarterback.
Yeah, but that's and I'm not going to disrespect the coach, but I'm going to tell him what he needs to do is Todd Downing. Todd Downing, it's the personnel. When you go 22 personnel, that's 2 backs, 2 tight ends, and 1 wide receiver, you're being predictable. When you're being predictable, they're going to load the box because they know that Derrick Henry is throwing the ball. And then also Todd Downing has to do is mix it up a little bit. Throw it on first down. Throw it on second down. But don't just say, okay, we're going to run with Henry, then we get in third long. We got to pass the football. Just got to be creative. They got to put the players in position to be successful but not be predictable.
Well, you got to stay ahead of the chains. One, because the pass, the passing offense has been inept. Their pass blocking hasn't been good. And the only thing they have to really lean on is their run game. So you can't put the run game in a situation where it's 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 15 because of penalties. You always got to stay ahead of the sticks. You always got to make it a first down. We should come back. It should be no less than 2nd and 7. If I can get in my 2nd and 7, now I can turn back around and get a ball to Derrick Henry, or throw a little flare route to Dontrell Autry, or get a short pass to the receivers or tight ends. Now it's 3rd and 2. Now it's 3rd and 3. Now, as an offensive coordinator, it's wide open for me. I can turn the ball around and give it to Derrick Henry, or I can throw it. Now I put the defense on their heels. When we can't get into 3rd and 5 or less, now we're at a disadvantage as an offense because we're not a good passing team.
With that, I would say that the Titans' biggest problem the last 2 weeks on first and second down was the fact that they literally couldn't pass the ball. So I will argue that this week the passing game will be helped out by a quarterback who can actually throw it. That will make them more efficient on first and second down. I expect more than 60 passing yards, which is what they've been getting the last 2 games.
Can I ask you a question? When Hollister runs in the game, do you know what it is?
They've thrown him the ball with Tannehill in there. He had the largest catch of the game against the Colts, though he still stinks. He had the largest catch of the game against the Colts, which was the last game that Tannehill played. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Time now for our game day predictions. Who wins today and why? Chris Sanders, we start with you. Titans and the Broncos.
This is a tough situation with a lot of guys out from the Titans on defense and a couple of guys on offense. I think that the Titans still are going to win. I think they're going to win 24-21 because I just think that looking at the Broncos, they're just a team that's in disarray right now. On offense, they're struggling. On defense, they're okay. They let one of your best pass rushers go with Chubb. So I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win 24-21.
Has he ever not picked the Titans?
Yes.
I don't know.
Did when they played the Bills.
I don't. Well, I think you were by default. You wanted to pick the Titans, but you was like, man, I got to pick the Bills.
No, he picked the Titans to beat the Bills.
No, negatory.
Yeah, we made a big deal about that.
We need to go back and listen. I don't know if you picked him or not.
I
but
know.
if you did pick him, then something's wrong with you, buddy. I am going to believe you didn't pick him.
Thank you.
That's what I'm going to believe, Chris, that you did pick him.
I did not pick
You
the
said
Titans
some
on that.
crazy things, but you didn't pick that game for the Titans.
That's no.
For me, I just think the Titans got too many injuries on the defensive side. It's not even the injuries on the offensive side for me. It's just the injuries on the defensive side for me that are going to be just too much of a problem, and they're going to be too much of a disadvantage. What they said the line was
2.5.
30. No, I'm saying
the over-under?
Yeah, over
39.5.
39.5. Man, it's going to be close to that. But I predict that Denver has majority of the 39 points. So, I mean, I think this is a 20-17 game. I think Denver wins by field goal.
Titans 19-13, and I think the difference in the game today will be a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
By Hooper.
By Austin Hooper, and I think the Titans will win today. That's going to do it for us. Special thanks to our friends here at Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge for having us. And again, we got a special Thursday night pregame show coming to you as the Titans will take on the Packers. Enjoy the game, everybody. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You watch the game. We talk the game.
The college football playoff rankings, Tennessee, the #1 team in the country.
We are